Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today, we're sharing our experiences from our wonderful world of football collecting. Now, this is part 2 of a series of 2 videos we'll be doing, introducing you to my love of football shirt collecting and drawing on my experiences to date buying and selling shirts. Now, if you haven't already, check out our first video in which we shared some practical tips to get your shirt collection off to a great start. And when we shared that, that was very much from our own personal opinion. It's our own personal experiences and things we've had to navigate as we've grown our collection. Now, everyone is different, everyone is unique, and that is the beauty of football shirt collecting. But here in today's video, we're going to be showing some of the pitfalls that we have experienced ourselves in that journey so far. But before we start sharing those with you, you know what you need to do. Click that subscribe button, guys. We really would appreciate it. It only takes a second, guys. We're climbing slowly but steadily, and we just want to get this channel alive and working as hard as it could. So why don't we crack straight on? We've got six mistakes that we have made. I would say they're quite common mistakes, to be brutally honest with you, and we've probably all made them. Even the most experienced shirt collectors will get it wrong from time to time, and that's okay. At the end of the day, we're only human, guys. So mistake number 1 I have made is a complete role reversal, really, from one of the tips I gave you, which is in the early stages, we went quantity over quality. Yeah, we got caught in the headlights. We talked in the last video about having a real goal and a real purpose to your collection. And I would say when I started collecting, I probably hadn't quite figured that out. I was drawn in by certain shirts, certain designs, certain teams, and I wanted to grow the collection. I wanted to be able to show people my collection and be proud of it. And that's good. But what I was inevitably doing was I was picking up shirts and buying shirts that, quite frankly, I didn't really need, or I didn't quite know why I was doing it. And what that meant was I sort of then take a step back and look at that rail and look at the shirts and think, where is this heading? Why have I got that? I think some of the time I was getting them because they were on sale. I think some of the time I was getting them because I was perhaps hooked in and I thought, let's jump in now. I don't want to miss out on that one, get it? Or I think there's been a few occasions where it's been a shirt that's been linked to a particular maybe memory or event, and that's good. And for many, and myself included, sometimes that's a really good reason to buy a shirt. And I think what's happened is as the years have passed, most of those shirts that I've got have been moved on, and I've sold those on, and in some cases probably sold them on at a slight loss. But you do live and learn. And nail that goal, nail the objective of your collecting, and once you've done that, hopefully some of these mistakes can be avoided. So number 1, I went quantity over quality. Number 2, some cases I just simply haven't done my research. That's either not understanding the market, not understanding the demand on a shirt, or just simply being a bit gung-ho in my approach. I talked in the previous video about knowing the price, and price is one thing, and it's one of the key things, because at the end of the day, we're driven in many stages of our life by the cost of an item. But I think if you're a passionate football shirt collector, cost isn't always the underlying factor that makes that purchase decision. But for me, it's usually there or thereabout, where I'm working off quite a limited budget. But there have been some occasions where I've jumped in for shirts because I've seen somebody on social media saying I've got these shirts for sale. And it appears from what I can see on the screen that there's quite a bit of interest, so I want to get in there. Certainly been the case sometimes when I've been on auctions where I haven't set myself, I guess, some boundaries or a limit, and I've gone on, and I've probably been priced up, probably not artificially, but just I've got caught up in that sort of world of the demand and people wanted it. And also sometimes, I I haven't properly researched the shirt in terms of its uniqueness or potential value further down the line. So thinking specifically about blackout shirts, limited edition shirts, all of those things. I've probably not gone into to a purchase with my eyes fully open. So I've been there thinking about cost. I mean, I guess I've seen it both ways. On the upside, that lovely Norway shirt from 2020, the blue, that, you know, to this day is still a very popular shirt that a lot of people missed out on. That shirt went on sale, lots of people piled in, and it actually appeared, I believe, on Nike with a discount code not that long after launch. I think I picked my shirt up for about £40, whereas quite a lot of people would have paid full value. The same probably applied to a lot of the 2022 shirts. But if you look at it, you could have paid £70 for a Germany shirt at the start of the tournament. By the time they went out, Adidas were knocking them out for £35. Yet Argentina go on to win it. And, well, if you can still get it now online through the major retailers, you're probably still paying that £17. If you're trying to get hold of it through other channels, that price has been inflated. So if you got it, you're smiling. If you missed out, so it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. Mistake number 3. If you're applying a name set onto a shirt, 2 things. 1, make sure it's the right name set. Number 2, make sure it's done properly. Let's break that down into 2 elements. Doing it properly. It's so easy to try and cut corners, save a few pounds, and I've done that. You know, I've got hold of a name set, I've gone onto YouTube, I've seen other collectors with their irons slowly applying a name set, and it comes off and it looks immaculate. And I've done that and it works. But there are occasions when it doesn't go smoothly and you start to lose your shit a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, and you rush things, or that temperature setting's not quite right, and what you end up with is an incorrectly applied name set. It might have some blemishes on, so in some cases, you know, a little bit of that isn't quite sticking, and you try and manipulate it. And I've got an England shirt with the Rooney name set, and the numbers look amazing, but the Rooney, a couple of letters are slightly out. Now, for me, I can live with that because that shirt's probably not going to be moved on, but that would have an impact on my ability to sell that, and I would have to be very clear about that slight issue in a description. So if you can afford to do it and you really prize your shirts and you like name sets, then it perhaps always pays to wait and get them professionally heat pressed. Now, there are a number of people on social media who do that, or if you're someone who's likely to be doing it regularly, then you can pick up a heat press machine yourself. But you get a consistency in that heat transfer across the name set, and arguably you end up with a better finish. The other option is when you purchase your shirt, if there's an option to add a name set, do that. Often I don't do that because what with the cost of the initial outlay and the name set, it inflates the price, and there's a mental thing for me. So what I try and do now is pick up my shirts at a lower cost further along in the season, and then source the name sets myself and do that so that the whole package is slightly cheaper. The second thing is when you're looking to apply a name set, make sure it's the correct name set. And when I say make sure it's the correct name set, for a lot of clubs across Europe, they have 2 types of name set. They have what I would call the league font, the league name set that is typically worn on shirts in league matches, but then they will have their own club font that makes an appearance in cup games and European games. So as a Liverpool fan, Liverpool will wear the traditional Premier League font that you'll see across the full range of Premier League teams, but they've got their own LFC font, which they will wear on all domestic and European Cup fixtures. So as an example, I'm looking to get the 21-22 Liverpool home shirts, the season where we got to 3 finals. I would really like to get a shirt for each of the finals and get the specific cut patches and the match detail, but I've got to be mindful that the name sets on the back of that would need to be the club font, not the league font. So always pay close attention, do your research on Google, look up a player, look up the year, the shirt, You know, don't necessarily rely on other retailers. Look for match photos, and then you can see actually what was the patch makeup and what was the appropriate name set. The other thing to think about as well, and a common mistake, is when you're buying name sets, there are a lot of fake name sets out there. And, you know, in our quest to try and save money, there are people, and I've done it, that will pick up a non-authentic. I try wherever possible to pick up authentic name sets because they're manufactured in a way to ensure smooth application. Some of the cheaper name sets, sometimes you can see a color bleed come up if it gets too hot, or you can see a crinkling of the name set. It doesn't look good on a shirt. So do your research on the name sets. If you're applying them yourself, be patient, don't rush it. Number 4, make sure if your shirts are part of your everyday life and you wear them, that you are washing your shirts correctly. I personally tend to keep my shirts as a collection and I don't wear them. If I do wear shirts, they tend to be older shirts, or they might be fake shirts that I've picked up for review purposes that are good for a kick around and are going through the wash. I know the condition is going to deteriorate, probably the name set and the sponsors will come off, but that's okay. But if you collect authentic shirts and you're applying name sets and you do want to wear them, always make sure when you're washing them, you do it in a delicate fashion. So find a delicate setting, turn the shirt inside out. Even better still, try and hand wash, and I know that can be laborious. So think carefully before applying name sets. I mean, what's the purpose of the shirt? Are you going to be wearing it? Because do you know what? If you want to wear it every day, maybe a name set, it's not worth the investment. Mistake number 5, don't get caught out by the fakesters. We've done videos on it, guys. Look at this video here. We showcase some World Cup 2022 shirts that on the face of it look great. They look great. They look so close to the authentic shirts, and it's only when you look at some of the detailing more closely and you look at the labels inside that you can tell that they're fake. And they're cheap for a reason. They're cheap because they're not manufactured to a high standard. Now, I try and practice what I preach, and we've shared with you some of the easy ways to spot a fake or to check the authenticity of a shirt. But from time to time, things distract us. And I had a classic example recently with a friend who I purchased what I thought was a lovely shirt. And after several weeks, he said to me, look, I've looked in more detail. And I went back through the purchase process and I was left wondering, well, why on earth did I not ask for that label? What was happening at that point that meant I had a confidence in that shirt? So it doesn't matter how certain you are, that extra layer of research helps, because we've all seen the Ellis Patton video where he gets scammed out of that messy MATCHWORN over in America. It can happen to the most astute collectors, and there are a lot of vultures out there who are looking to make a quick buck and will take advantage of us, and there's no shame in it for them. I have a moral compass and it's not something I would do, but I've been caught out, and then what you do is you end up with a fake shirt, which is really hard to move on. And what I typically do is I keep hold of those shirts. They're either worn or they're hung as a display in an area, but they don't fit and sit as part of a collection. So guys, pay particular attention to this, because the fakesters are becoming more and more sophisticated, and I think over time, hopefully it won't become harder to spot them, because hopefully the manufacturers will keep pace and will develop new ways to ensure that we can spot the authentic versus the fake. And finally, guys, because I've gone on far too long, mistake number 6, and it's a small one, but it's one just to consider. Think about your storage. Don't store your shirts incorrectly. I have a lot of shirts. A lot of my shirts are hanging up. Think about, if you're not wearing them, where they're being stored. Are they being stored in the right conditions? Are you just throwing them into a box? I've thrown my shirts into a box. It doesn't look great. They come out all creased. Sometimes the name sets are creased as well. What that means is you need to get an iron out, very carefully try and iron those creases out. I don't want to be ironing. I want to be able to pick a shirt up off a rail, show my friends, and have it looking good in all its beauty. So think about your storage, guys. So I got it wrong in the early days. What did I do? I condensed my collection. I've got all my shirts hanging up. And if you're someone who has ever got any clothes dry cleaned, when your clothes come back from the dry cleaners, they come in these clear sort of cellophane covers. They're readily available on eBay. I'm sure they're available worldwide. Get those, and I've got all my shirts. You will have seen them if you check out my entire collection video. And I think probably in my MATCHWORN one, they were all there. It gives a layer of protection to the material. Make sure you don't cramp all your shirts up onto a rails once, because again, they can crease. And make sure wherever you're storing them is not damp. Thankfully, I've not done that, but you do not want mildew and dampness running through your shirts. So there you go, guys. We've made mistakes and we're not ashamed to share them with you, but every time you make a mistake, you learn and you move on from it. There you go, guys. Hopefully that's really helpful. Hopefully that has added to the practical tips we gave you. If you've got any others, guys, do share them in the comments below. We'd love to hear them. And thanks for watching, guys, and we'll be back with another video really soon.